The more you expose your pain, the more people may want to hurt you, although that doesn't always happen. It's common for some people to take pleasure in seeing you suffer or even contribute to making it happen or worsen. This behavior of sadism and envy, unfortunately, is present in many and can really hinder your personal growth in various areas of life, whether at work, in friend circles, or even within the family. Therefore, learning not to show your weak point can end up becoming your strong point. Imagine yourself as a tree in the middle of a storm. The leaves may sway and the branches may bend, but the trunk remains solid, deeply rooted in the earth. This is the picture of the silent resilience we are teaching here. Let's talk about how you can be even stronger by showing that you are not easily affected by external and internal issues, where each challenge teaches you. Be like the tree, acting as if nothing bothers you. You're not denying the storm, but choosing not to let the rain soak you and the wind knock you down. You'll be learning to be the master of your own destiny, firm, strong, and serene in a sea of chaos. In this video, we will discuss 13 stoic principles of Epicurus, a highly renowned philosopher you've probably heard of. Additionally, I invite you to self-awareness, where strength doesn't come from the noise of thunder, but from the silence of the light that illuminates the path. So, in the next few minutes, focus on the content and not on daily distractions. Let's go! Principle number 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever thought about why nature gave us 2 ears, but only 1 mouth? According to Epicurus, there is no mistake or coincidence in this, but rather a clear purpose behind this reality. Not to fall in love with our own voice as much as we are called to fall in love with the voices of others. We learn from others as we progress in life, not by repeating our own discourse repeatedly. So, from today, start paying more attention to what the people around you are saying and less to what you have been advocating so far. Principle number 2, always expect the worst. One of the greatest causes of anxiety and its devastating consequences is believing that unfavorable circumstances await us in the future. We fear that our children will drop out of school, that we will be fired from work, that our spouse will confess to having an affair with someone else and ask for a divorce, or that something bad will happen to us, such as bankruptcy. The problem is that one day we fear one of these problems and the next another. The path of life, besides reserving good and happy parts for us, also reserves a series of inevitable problems. Therefore, we live in permanent stress caused by different stimuli every day. This is where Epicurus comes in, as his proposal is as drastic as it is effective. He says, think that all these things you fear so much have already happened. This way, your spirit will develop coping strategies to move forward with your head held high. Principle number 3. Be prepared to fail, as it is the only way to progress. We go to great lengths not to be considered fools, but Epicurus has a different view of this. According to his philosophy, one of the best things that can happen to us is to be considered fools, as that is how we truly improve professionally and personally. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming is not the product of a spontaneous reaction, but rather the result of a long path of trial and error. It is through error that we can polish what separates us from excellence. Principle number 4. Be aware of the dangers of fortune. The wealth we desire carries with it a stigma from which few people can free themselves. And it's not just about people who will come out of nowhere to benefit from our fortune, pretending a friendship they do not feel for us. Money has the ability to transform people, and not always for the better. Once we possess this coveted resource, we start to have something that we didn't know we had until then, and it is from that moment that our spirit can begin to poison itself in the face of the loss of moral values. Principle number 5, do not cling to a single hope. Fortunately, we are inclined towards diversity. There is no reason to place all our hopes in a single dream, as this can be devastating if we fail in it. Therefore, Epicurus encourages us to pursue many dreams, as this will exponentially increase our chances of success. Principle number 6, always remember that death is waiting at the end of the road. This is not advice that calls us to pessimism, but to the awareness that death is the ultimate destination of all our actions and especially of our efforts. Once we have this in mind, perhaps we will begin to assess to what extent it is worth spending 20 years of our limited life saving to pay for a house that, as much as it weighs on us, we cannot take with us wherever we go after death visits us. Just as we carry in our bag the objects we consider indispensable for our daily life, such as the phone, credit cards, and toothbrush, it would be very beneficial to carry a small notebook with these stoic principles, because thanks to them, we will no longer see setbacks as misfortunes, nor life as internal time that we have at our disposal. We will gain a more realistic view of our existence and certainly make better use of our time of life. Principle number 7, true wealth lies in a contented spirit. According to Stoicism, Epicurus had his particular conception of happiness, and we can know it through one of his famous phrases, "A wise man is one who does not worry about what he does not have, but rejoices in what he has." This reflection is more than a thought. It is advice to learn to stop worrying about those riches that are not yet part of our lives. While we allow ourselves to complain and lament for what we lack, we lose valuable minutes of happiness in which we could be thankful for everything we have achieved so far, which is much more than our eyes are trained to appreciate. Thus, a rich person is, above all, a happy person. Principle number 8, incorporate humility into your life. If we really want to learn something, it is essential that a person learns what they already believe they know. Through this sentence, Epicurus calls us to make use of our humility, especially in the realm of learning. Going through life boasting the pride of knowledge distances us more and more from authentic knowledge that arises from the conviction that we are completely ignorant about what we intend to learn. In this way, we will look at everything with the eyes of a child, who harbors both the ability to wonder and the desire to learn. Principle number 9, guilt is synonymous with a plague. Narrow-minded people blame others. Ordinary people blame themselves. But the wise see all blame as foolishness. Thanks to this Epicurean phrase, contemporary therapists began to address guilt as a feeling to be eradicated from our lives. The only way to win the competition against guilt is to refuse to play with it. The problem is that it results in an easy path, because by blaming others or ourselves, we completely absolve ourselves of the responsibility to correct the mistake. Therefore, resorting to it is a temptation difficult to escape. Only people driven by a firm determination to overcome are able to avoid guilt and still manage to take responsibility for their actions. Principle number 10, make alliances with winners. It's curious how, when someone sneezes near us, we immediately step back, invaded by the fear that they will infect us. However, we are not so cautious to avoid one of the most lethal contaminations to which we are exposed daily. Epicurus left us wise advice on this. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to do your best, because people's behavior greatly influences our state of mind. There are people who drain our energy and ruin our day, while others leave us full of joy and vigor. Therefore, one of the smartest decisions we can make is to ally ourselves with those who bring positive vibes to our lives, while bidding farewell to those who have the ability to make us regret being born. Principle number 11, never forget that your reactions forge your destiny. We should not take our reactions lightly, as they definitely mark our success or failure, and Epicurus was very categorical about this. He taught us that we do not have the possibility to choose what happens, but how we deal with it. Misfortune can befall any of us, but it is what we do from its arrival that will make the difference from that moment on. For some people, a divorce means entering the world of depression and victimization. In contrast, for Epicurus, it is a golden opportunity to start on the path of self-discovery. Remember that your life is not what happens to you, but what you do with it. Principle number 12, always fulfill your duty. Each of us has a role in society and in the world. The sun does not need praise or enchantments to rise every morning, but it does so every day, and that is final. Just as every part of nature does its job, we must fulfill our obligations. If we are waiting for favors or praise to do our work, we are failing both in the environment to which we belong and in ourselves. If we know what our task is and are aware that other people depend on it, it is our moral duty to perform it without expecting someone to remind us. Principle number 13, do not hate those who hate you, simply ignore them. You are much greater and completely superior to the one who criticizes, scorns, and discriminates against you. Therefore, do not waste your precious time hating that person, as they do not even deserve to be present in your thoughts. We are encouraged not to fear people who harm us, as this noise represents a lamentable attempt to harm you. So, ignore it and become immune to it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And since you've watched it until the end, share your ideas with us and leave comments with strengthened thoughts. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Your subscription is very important to us. See you soon. For those interested in exploring more about Stoicism, there are 3 book recommendations to deepen your understanding. The links are available in the video description below.